Alrighty. Pancreas, as you can see, that it is both as an endocrine and as an exocrine. As an exocrine, there are cells known as acinar cells. Okay, so basically, this is what a pancreas should look like. In here, there's a lot of cells called acinar cells that produces the enzyme requires to break down macromolecule. As an exocrine, it's secreted into the duct, and the major duct is this one right here, is known as the pancreatic. But scattered, this is the major pancreatic duct. But scattered along the pancreas are the regions that is considered lighter, paler staining. Here's one region like that, so you keep an eye out for that. That is known as the islets of Langerhans. Look like an island, if you will. Islets of Langerhans. So it's very noticeable over here. You can see it doesn't project very well. But it's very lighter staining. See if I can zoom it up to this one particular area. So right about here. So that's where you guys can look at and see if you can find the islets of Langerhans. You can see that now it's starting to look a little bit different, right? At this view. Here how the cells different from these. The acinar cells usually like this. That's the acinar cells. So these are basically involved in exocrine. As the endocrine, they're more, I'm going to zoom up that area of the Langerhans. You can see how there's so here's your typical acinar cells, okay? Lining, and they will secrete the enzyme. Here's another one. But here you don't see that structure, right? These are completely different. So we put an arrow here. Ask you what is that? You say, oh, that's an islet of Langerhans, for example, right? If you know that's an islet of Langerhans, then in here you have your beta cell, which is produce insulin. And you have your alpha cell, which produces glucagon. And the functions of insulin is to bring down your blood glucose level. This has the opposite, it brings up your blood glucose level. Okay, so you can see that if people who cannot produce insulin, then they cannot control their blood glucose. The blood glucose level is very high. Okay, so we call it hyperglycemic. And then when you see that a lot of glucose in the urine, which we're going to study today as part of the urinary system, known as glycosuria. And that's a typical people who have diabetes mellitus, for example, or diabetes. Diabetes mellitus. Type 1 is juvenile. And type 2 is usually seen in obese people, or we call it adult onset. Which means that in adult, they might produce the insulin, but their body is resistant. In juvenile, what happens is that there's a destruction of these cells. If there's no B cells, there's no insulin. No insulin, blood glucose level is continuously high. All right, so what I'd like you to do then is to study. Scan the area of the pancreas. Look for the islets of Langerhans. And I would like you to see whether you can identify that. Show it to me.